I'm inside and I saw the Twilight Zone episode 19, The Purple Testament. It is directed by Richard L. Bear, written by Rod Serling, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts, we're following this man. He's in the army, his name is Fitz, and there's this one particular power that he discovers that he has. He can see this light over people's faces, and then they die. What is this power? This is a freaky power. I wouldn't want this power at all. Would you want this power? Would you want to know if someone's going to die within the next day or hour or whenever? Just whenever they're going to die soon, and you can see it. I personally would not want that power. It seems very terrifying. I feel like I'd have a lot of baggage to carry around me throughout my entire life. I just look at people and then they got some glow on their face, some light glow on their face, and then next thing they know, boom, dead. I'm like, oh wow, this is horrifying. But there's also a use case for this too. You could predict people's deaths. You could probably make some money off of that. So it depends on what your focus is. This man though is very haunted. He predicted the deaths of 3 of his comrades. Is comrade the right word? Soldier pals? Soldier mates? Let me know what the word is. So he predicts the deaths of these 3 dudes just the day before. He saw some light on their face and then he's like, I'm gonna write their names down, and then now they're dead. And then he encounters this other guy in bed. He's just laying there. And I'm like, okay, I wonder if he's going to die. And this guy, Fitz, sees the light on this other guy's face, and then he dies pretty much 5 minutes later, and Fitz causes Fitz to pass out. They're like, oh geez, I hope you didn't hit your head, Fitz, because that sounds a little bit painful. You just kind of passed out. I don't know how long it took for you to regain consciousness, but geez, dude, he's got it hard in this episode, and I really feel bad for him. He encounters Riker, it's his captain, and unfortunately he's got the same light glow going on. I really love that Fitz is freaking out. He's talking to the other people, talking to his mates, and he's explaining what he's seeing, and his mates don't really believe him, including Riker. And he's like telling Riker, hey, you're gonna die, please don't go. He's like, no, I'm gonna go, we're gonna have a drink after this, it's gonna be alright. But he leaves his possessions at the tent. So it makes me believe that Riker, deep down, felt that something was off, felt like he was going to die, believed Fitz, but just went anyway, and then he dies in battle. I'm like, oh, they'll never be able to get that drink again. Oh no. Oh, that's so sad. Oh my goodness. And of course, Fitz is freaking out. We have this rumor that he can tell when people are about to die happening, and so there's a bunch of soldiers just lining up in a row, and he looks at all their faces. He's like, oh, none of you guys are gonna die. Okay, fascinating. And it's fun because he looks into a mirror and sees that he's about to die. He has the same light thing on his face. I'm like, oh no, this is tragic. You know you're about to die. At least you know you're about to die, instead of just happening randomly, and then poof, there goes your life. There it goes. You'll have no way of knowing whenever you're going to die normally, but because Fitz knows he's about to die, he's able to get very comfortable with his death, and I really appreciate that. Would you want to know when you're about to die? Let me know in the comments below. This is very important. Personally, I think I would want to know if I'm about to die. I have really mixed feelings about the power that Fitz has. On one hand, it seems like a burden knowing when people are about to die. But on the other hand, I would like to know when I'm about to die, because then it's like, oh, I can work towards whatever I want, work towards the goals that I want to achieve before dying. And then once I see that light on my face, I'll be like, oh yes, I'm content. Or if I haven't done enough, freak out and do as much as I can right now before I die. So Fitz sees himself in the mirror, sees he's about to die, but then he's being taken off of this encampment, gets sent into a jeep, and he looks at the jeep guy, and the jeep guy is also about to die. I'm like, huh, how are they going to die? while there's some mines that didn't get explored, we didn't uncover all the mines, so we gotta be careful. And I love the driver's pride. He's like, oh, I'm the best driver that there is. You'll be safe with me. I'm like, no, you won't. Oh man, dude, you're going to die. And then probably a few minutes later, I don't actually know how long it takes, but it's a few minutes later, and then you just hear an explosion. It's like, oh, those two people are dead. Oh, wow. I love this episode. This is such a good episode. I love just seeing the faces on the actors' face, especially Fitz. Fitz actor does a great job conveying his emotions. He conveys emotion of like despair, dread, especially after the first few kids that dies, and he like understands that he has his power. Then he just looks so dreadful. I'm like, oh, it's so. He looks so dreary. Is that the word? Dreary? I also love the sets. My favorite part of this episode has to be when they're in the hospital with all the beds, all the beds going on, and you got that sick guy who's about to die. Just where the camera is, it's so dynamic. I can see the entire depth of the room, and I love just the amount of lines there because of how many beds are there, and there's people there. And I'm like, oh, love it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Mwah. I also like the parts where they're outside. It just looks so lived in. It just feels so alive. This episode feels alive, which is really funny because this is an episode about a guy predicting people's deaths. Overall, I really like this episode a lot. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a fun episode to watch. I don't think I have anything else to say about this episode, so I gotta give this episode, it's a solid 7.9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 Redinos, patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews, you can go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here, and until next time, Mint Salad Saw, I'll see you later, my stock on and bacon bits.